point here in this podcast. I'm going to talk about closer, about expressing things. Most often in today's times, in today's society, uh, and maybe this is due to the human evolution as well, we are obsessed with this idea of hiding things. And if we are male, we have even more so this extreme tendency of hiding the truth somehow, of not speaking, um, not being fully expressive to a lot of things out there. And while we are out there showing the brave face and doing the brave man's work in this brave man's world, in this man's world, so to say, we are missing out on a lot of things. We are missing on the subtleties of life. And while it is important to rough oneself out there, to go out there and hustle, to do the needful out there, but it is also in today's society very, very important because as a society we have upgraded ourselves so very much technologically, industrially, and whatnot. Scientifically, we have reached up to the point that we don't need to uh, work as laborers, so to say, in mass numbers like the earlier days, and hence the increasing number of gyms and yoga and wellness and so on today that we can see out there in masses. People are following through the regimes of their workouts and so on and so forth. So this goes to show that the physical work has diminished and the sedentary lifestyle is on the increase. And in these times, the so-called savage mentality of the primitive ages are already over, and the so-called expression of the manhood in us has nothing to do with the present scenario anymore, and we are simply latching onto the idea, and that's kind of causing a serious kind of harm in today's society. Relationships are falling apart, marriages are falling apart. I have personally experienced and seen at first hand how relationship can be degraded fully because of these things, because of the various things that come up just because you are not expressive, my friend. Because people are not expressing themselves. What on earth is holding them back? Is this the male ego, the manhood, the so called hustling attitude? I don't know. But what have you got to prove here? What on earth are we, as a population of man out there, want to prove? Is there anything at all that we want to prove? And if we have anything to prove out there, then our existence couldn't be more futile, uh, because our attempt to put a meaning to it itself shows the kind of vacuum on the existence of the whole race itself, and it has brought into question various things, a huge amount of things. And out of many, I would say that this attitude of unexpressiveness of the collective male population at large has a lot to do with the diminishing amount of the degrading amount of the quality in relationships, and this has caused havoc in the mental health scenario, in a scenario of wellness, so to say, of a person and a family and a society at large and whatnot. If a person is in himself dissatisfied and unexpressive as well, then how can he be expected at all to be the person that he really wants to be? Is being unexpressive is in no way going to help in that scenario. And this is what I really, really believe in from the bottom of my heart, and I sincerely urge to the listeners of the podcast, whomever is listening to it right now, to be expressive, to freaking speak out. The nature has given you a mouth, a tongue, a uh, vocal, the larynx to produce the right amount of voice and the sound to communicate. And if you have ability and you are not communicating, then what the hell are you even doing? You speak up, you say your words, uh, and there is the other picture as well. We have got a loads of people who are speaking shit. A lot of people are speaking so much, but the 90% and the 99% of what they're speaking is already shit. When I say speak up, I don't mean that you speak up all sorts of nonsense that is going on. I don't want you to speak about politics. I don't want to speak about the news, so to say. I don't want to do that because Google gives me everything. You know, the device that I'm holding right now in my hand, that gives me every damn piece of information that you think that is useful, that I don't know already. And even if I don't know already, I would obviously know by the time the sun sets tonight. And this is the world that we live in. Information is no longer of any value because we have got information. We have got information right in the palm of the hands, just one click away. All the products out there in the market, anything, just the informations, the products, and whatever services that we require are just at the tip of our thumb, so to say. And that's what technology has brought us to. And this is the age when getting things done is not the issue anymore. Rather, the issue is the internal issue, the issue of unexpressiveness, the issue of holding on to things, latching on to things, all those issues of keeping things inside. So, what is this obsession, so to say, of the people in general to hold on to things? Why on earth you have to hold on to things? This is the best time. You were fucking alive. You're freaking alive. You're breathing. You're seeing things. You're walking, and you are, living. And this is the best time to live because you have got everything by the tip of your thumb, so to say. And in this time and age, by being unexpressive, you were simply latching on to, the hot coal, so to say. You were simply gulping down poison, and you were keeping it there, and you were unwilling to let it go. This is my humble urge to everyone out there that you express yourself. You express everything. Maybe not out there for the whole world to see. You may not be ready for that right now, but at least speak up to your close ones, to the ones that you feel comfortable with. You just express yourself and then see what happens. You know what? If nothing will happen, at least you will find closure. You will find a kind of satisfaction. The kind of satisfaction that you find when you take a shit. Taking a shit doesn't pay you any money. It doesn't do you any good, so to say. But you feel great. Because the shit you were holding on to, you have just let it go. And there are a lot of things, there's a lot of shit, so to say, a lot of garbage that you're holding on to. And when you throw it out of our minds, of our whole being, then things begin to look good. Not because it wasn't good already, because the situation, the whole of human existence is already self-healing and self-motivating and self-preserving. All you need to do is keep the obstacles, the garbage, and the things that degrade you. Those things you have to select, classify them, and then put them out. You don't recognize them and then put them out. All you have to do is, if you consider your consciousness feel a boundary within which you live, then you have to keep all the garbage and all the shitty things out of the boundary. And how you do that is, one of the way you do that is speak up. And speaking up doesn't necessarily mean that you transfer the garbage from your boundary to someone else's boundary. You are not dumping them. You are recognizing them. It's basically like you talk to your neighbor. and both of you find a solution to put this garbage away somehow, collectively. Not in someone else's background, but collectively you find a way creatively. There you can use your intelligence. You can use your intelligence to find a way to dispose of that garbage somehow, so that no one else will be affected by it. And that's the way to go, actually. That's the way to find out a way collectively, because collectively is the way to go. It's not that you are going to find individually the solution to everything out there. It's not possible. Let's accept it. That's a fact. The external world, well, maybe you can find the financial support and all the requirements to support yourself out there. But internally, my dear friend, let me tell you this, that it's not freaking possible to survive the internal clashes, the internal agendas and issues. You cannot sort them out yourself. That's not possible. So speak out. Speak out. By speaking out, at least one person will get to know. And maybe someday even more people will get to know. And then eventually maybe you will connect it to the person who exactly has the right thing to give you that you need the most. And not this and not that, but exactly the thing that you need the most. And that day will come, that thing is going to happen when you are going to express yourself. You begin to express yourself, and that's the time that there will come the possibility of a day when you will find a person who will give you exactly the thing that you need. But until and unless you don't speak up, until and unless you hold yourself back, hoping that you will one day somehow magically turn everything around and solve every problem, that's not going to be the case. That's never going to be the case. You need to speak up. This is the world of internet. This is the world of digital platforms, of social media, booming exponentially. This is time when you put your thoughts out there. This is the time when you speak to people out there. You can privately message them. You can put it out there for everyone else to see, depending upon you. This is the time when you go virtual, because you will not be meeting the persons, because the corona pandemic has shown it to us directly that you are not going to meet the people that you always did once. You are not going to personally be able to see someone anymore. It is very possible that many people you once saw, you will never be able to see them again in your life ever. This is going to happen. And this is the time when you take your social interaction out there in the media, in the social media out there, and you put your stuff out. I know it's difficult. I know it's very, very difficult to share the things. But that's the only way out. I sincerely urge all of you, because this is the thing that I have found the most closer and the most warmth and the most comforting times in my life has come from disclosures, these expressions of my weaknesses, of my vulnerabilities. And when I express them, maybe no one give me solutions, maybe no one does nothing, but there's someone to listen. And that, my friend, is one of the biggest amazing gifts that you can be very, very grateful for. If you have someone like that who really listens to you, that's one of the biggest gifts that you cannot ask for anything more, especially in times like this, with corona and everything. So if you have a person like that, so I urge each and every one of you who has a person right now listening to me right now, who has a person who listens to you, go out there, speak up your vulnerabilities, and then see what it does to you. It really takes all the load, and then maybe slowly you will become aware of what kind of things that you are going through. Maybe what you once thought that was overloading, overburdening, was not much of a burden anymore, because you would realize after speaking that many out there, millions out there, are going through the same stuff and even more serious stuff than you are going through right now. Maybe you will find that a saying that goes like this, that I was very sad because I hadn't any shoe until I saw the person who had no legs. Okay, so these things, the gratitude comes about and the empathy comes about just by speaking about your vulnerability to the person who are your close ones, who really wants your growth. And let me remind you, my dear friends, someone might not have the ability to really understand you, but if the person wants your growth, if the person really is empathetic to you, then you go ahead and express it anyway, because it doesn't matter if the person listens, or if the person is really you know under really understanding of the issues that you're going through. But if he wants your growth, then speak up to that person. It doesn't matter, anything else doesn't matter. If he wants your growth, then slowly and certainly everything will become clear. And this is my sincere, humble urge to everyone out there who are fearful of speaking up. Just freaking speak up already. First speak up to the close ones, and then probably if you think that this message was of any impact to you, then please go out there and put out there in the social media, and slowly begin to put stuff out there for people to see. So because in these hard times we need such positive messages, we need such people doing constantly the stuff of inspiring people out there, of motivating and putting out the positive words out there. And this is one of the most important things that we right now as a generation need, especially in times like this. And this is my sincere attempt in doing it, and I sincerely urge everyone listening to this right now to please come up with newer and newer ideas of spreading positivity out there in the internet. And I hope that this message reaches to everyone in the best of their being, and I hope that everything gets well very soon. And I hope that you blossom in a full-blown human being with a full-blown, fully blossomed consciousness. And see you until next time. Bye bye.